Hey everyone, welcome back. So for this vlog, we're going to take things up a notch by combining our player movement and animation with a scrolling background. We'll load a big world map, add a player sprite that can walk in all directions, and then use a camera system to make the screen follow the player whenever they go. By the end of this vlog, you'll understand how to render only the visible part of the world and how to keep the camera inside the map boundaries and how to smoothly animate the player while moving. So let's just write into the code and see how it works. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a CMake file. So CMake will handle the creation of executable and it will going to link those library that we needed. So in the main file, so we're going to include the header files or the library that we needed. So here we need the SDL2 library and SDL2 image library as well. So for printing the error message, we need the stdio.h, and to be able to use or utilize the true or false instead in 1 and 0, we needed an stdbool.h as well. So here we have a constant. So here we define the sprite underscore size. So we have a value of 48. So that is the size of our character sprite. And then we have a frame underscore count. We have 4. And then a frame delay. And also character speed. Now inside the main function, we will going to initialize the SDL init video, and if it fails, we're going to print error message. And then we're going to initialize the image for PNG so that we can use the PNG or we can load the PNG file. And if it fails, we're going to print error message and then we're going to quit the SDL. Next is the creation of the window. So here the window name is main underscore window or m underscore window. So the type of that is SDL window, and then using the SDL create window, we have a title of background and camera scrolling, and then the position of the window is centered, and then the size of that window is 800 by 600. Now if it fails, error will appear and then it will quit the SDL and the image. Now we're going to create a renderer. So a renderer is a type of SDL renderer. So using the SDL create renderer, we're going to utilize the window that we created, which is m underscore window. So that would be rendered. And then -1, which means we're going to use the graphics or the video graphics available, and then we will going to have an hardware acceleration or accelerated or the GPU, and then VSync as well. So if it fails, we're going to print a message, and then we will going to clean up the window, and then we're going to quit the SDL and the image. Now we're going to create a texture. So we're going to load the asset, which is the character and the background. So we have a character sprite and a background. So the type of that in SDL texture. So we use the image load texture to create the texture. So unlike before, we use the SDL surface, and then we will going to create texture from the SDL surface. Now we just need to use the image load texture so that we can actually generate those texture that we wanted. Now, if the creation or loading of the texture will fails, and we will going to print the error message, and we're going to clean it up and then quit the SDL and the image. And then we will going to get a background size and source for the play, and then the player or the character's position in the scene or the world that we going to create. And then for the camera, so this is for the camera. So the question is what part of the world we would like to render. So like how big, or which, I mean, the size of the screen that we wanted to capture. So that's the question. It depends upon on you what size that you wanted. So now for the camera, the question is what part of the world we would like to render, or which part of the screen that you wanted to render. So in our case, the size of this window or the screen or the main window is 800 by 600. So we wanted the total screen that we wanted to render. So the screen, which means the main window or m_window. So the size of the m_window is 800 by 600. So that's why the size of our camera is 800 by 600. Now in the main loop, we have the main loop. Inside the main loop, we have an event loop. And then we were going to have a keyword state reader. And then those state, or the keyword state, is for the up arrow key, down arrow key, left arrow key, and right arrow key. And then we will going to have our animation frame. So this is our animation frame for our character from switching between two frames. And then we're going to have our camera. So this is the camera will follow the character in the center. So we set that up and then clamp the camera inside the world that we wanted, or we are going to bound the camera to that screen. And then we're going to render our world. First we're going to clear the screen, and then we're going to render that, and then we're going to render the background with the camera, and then next we're going to render the character sprite and the current position of the character the position of the character. So here we're going to clean up the resources that we used. So in summary, we load a large map, or which is the background, and then place the player in the middle and move the player around using the arrow keys, which is the up, down, left, and right, and then animates the walking with the sprite sheet, and then the camera scrolls to follow the player, and then renders only the visible portion of the world.